Hey guys, come on downstairs. Welcome to Southern Utah Thunderbirds Dynasty. It's the Year 2 Bowl Selection Special. Let's get things started off with the Bowl Announcement Show. 68 bowl bids and 71 bowl eligible teams means that 3 teams who are bowl eligible will not make it and be left out in the cold. Southern Miss, Southern Utah, Bowling Green, Tulsa, Connecticut, and Colorado State are the 6 teams we feel are most on the bubble. Out of all of the bowl-eligible teams, let's get right to the selections. Colorado State and California in the New Mexico Bowl, Notre Dame and Toledo in the Idaho Potato Bowl, Nevada and Navy in the Poinsettia Bowl. Navy a winner, Notre Dame over Toledo, and Cal over Colorado State. The St. Petersburg Bowl, Texas Tech, Southern Miss, the New Orleans Bowl, New Mexico State, Louisiana Tech, Arizona State and Air Force in the Las Vegas Bowl. Southern Miss with the win over Texas Tech. New Mexico State beats Louisiana Tech, and Air Force goes to 12-1 with the 34-31 win over Arizona State. The Sheridan Hawaii Bowl, New Mexico and Marshall, the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl, Northern Illinois and Michigan State, and the Holiday Bowl, Kansas State and Oregon. New Mexico gets the win, Northern Illinois with a big win over Michigan State, and Kansas beats number 21 Oregon. The Military Bowl, Army and Eastern Michigan. The Belk Bowl, North Carolina and North Texas. The Independence Bowl, Arizona and Ole Miss. Arizona with the win, North Carolina over North Texas, and Eastern Michigan 21-10 over Army. Next set of bowl games, the Russell Athletic Bowl, North Carolina State and South Florida. Michigan, West Virginia, San Diego State and Tulane in the Armed Forces Bowl. And North Carolina State beats USF, Michigan over Virginia in the Meineke Car Care Bowl, and Tulane beats San Diego State 21-12 in the Armed Forces Bowl. Next set, Louisville and Washington in the Fight Hunger Bowl, Oklahoma State and Washington State in the Alamo Bowl, Western Michigan and Louisiana in the GoDaddy Bowl. Western Michigan gets the win, Oklahoma State over Wazoo, and Washington with the win over Louisville 35-28. The Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, Texas and Indiana, the Music City Bowl, Vanderbilt and Florida Atlantic, and the Sun Bowl, Georgia Tech and USC. Texas with a 31-3 win over Indiana. Florida Atlantic with a 30-27 win over Vanderbilt, their second bowl win in a row. The Liberty Bowl, Florida International and Missouri, Florida State and Georgia in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, and Northwestern beats Florida in the Gator Bowl. Florida State rocks Georgia, and FIU goes to 12-1 on the year with their win as well. The Heart of Dallas Bowl, Colorado and Maryland, the Outback Bowl, Arkansas and Iowa, and the Capital One Bowl, Penn State and Auburn. Auburn beats Penn State, Arkansas 31-16 over Iowa, and Maryland 31-24 over Colorado. The BBVA Compass Bowl, BYU and Connecticut, and now some of the bigger bowls. The Rose Bowl, UCLA and Wisconsin. The Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma and Mississippi State. Oklahoma winner, UCLA beats Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl, and BYU beats Connecticut in the BBVA Compass Bowl. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, TCU and Texas A&M. The All-State Sugar Bowl, Houston and Tennessee in the Discover Orange Bowl, Clemson and Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky goes to 12-1 with a win over Clemson, Houston over Tennessee, and TCU over Texas A&M. So a look at the bowl bubble. Southern Miss went bowling, Connecticut went bowling, Colorado State went bowling, and the teams that had their bubbles burst, Tulsa, Southern Utah, and Bowling Green. Really no surprise when you look at it that Southern Utah got left out. We are without a conference. We had no bowl tie-ins conference-wise and no conference commissioner to go to bat for us. And that brings us to the national championship, which is number 1 versus number 2. Number 1, Virginia Tech. Number 2, Ohio State. And we will have highlights of the national championship from University of Phoenix Stadium in the desert. In the first quarter, Virginia Tech with the ball just in Ohio State's territory. Long pass down the left sideline. Catch is made by Jalen Bradshaw, 40-yard reception. But Ohio State's defense would keep the Hokies out of the end zone and force them to put up 3 points to get the scoring started here in the national championship. Ohio State would answer late in the first quarter. J.T. Barrett out to the left side, a broken tackle by Marcus Baugh and a 14-yard reception. First down and 10 play. From there, Barrett from the pocket throwing to the left side. Wide open receiver down to the 6-yard line is K.J. Hill. But Virginia Tech's defense would stiffen and force Ohio State to tie the game up at 3 with a chip shot field goal. Midway through the second quarter now, J.T. Barrett from in the red zone hooks up with C.J. Sanders, who gets down to the 1-yard line, bringing up a first down and goal. And on that first down, DeMarcus McCall would run it in from 1 yard out and give Ohio State the 10-3 lead. Again, midway through the second quarter. Shortly after that, Ohio State with the ball again and driving. Austin Mack with a 13-yard reception gets it down into the red zone. Virginia Tech would stop them there, and Ohio State would have to tack on another field goal to lead it 13-3. The Buckeyes would take that 13-3 lead into the halftime break over number 1 Virginia Tech. Early in the second half, J.T. Barrett from the shotgun drops back lots of time, throwing to a wide open receiver down the right sideline. Virginia Tech in cover 2, and the safety couldn't decide which receiver to cover, so he covered none of them. J.T. Barrett with a 79-yard touchdown pass, as you see the safety trying to decide whether he should guard the outside receiver or the receiver streaking down the seam. In the middle of the field, he ends up covering nobody. It's 20-6, Ohio State. Virginia Tech driving, trying to get the score back within one possession. And Ohio State gets the sack and fumble. Virginia Tech would recover it, but on the fourth down, the ball would go back to Ohio State. They have the ball with a 2-possession lead with 6:33 to go in the fourth quarter. J.T. Barrett on 3rd down and 5, steps up in the pocket, throws to the left side, or right side, his right, and it is picked off by Virginia Tech. And a huge mistake there by J.T. Barrett, really his biggest mistake of the game. And it gets Virginia Tech back into it at 20-13. But with 2:40 to go on a huge 3rd down and 11 play, J.T. Barrett finds Johnny Dixon on the left sideline for the first down, and Ohio State tacks on another field goal. They win the national championship 23-13 over the Virginia Tech Hokies. So your year 2 national champions are the Ohio State University. Your player of the game was J.T. Barrett. And so Ohio State will be defending their national championship in year number 3 of our Southern Utah Thunderbirds dynasty. So disappointingly, we are left out of the bowl picture. And so we will head into off-season number 2 beginning right now. Let's first take a look at the players who are leaving our program. All of them are seniors and graduating, names that you are familiar with if you have followed the series up until now. Austin Anderson, Anthony Fogans, free safety, Nick Nissen, a right guard, Christopher Robinson, a wide receiver, Mitch Jessup, a wide receiver. We lost a lot from our wide receiver core. Colton Cook, our kicker, he was pretty reliable. Matt Hawley, a linebacker. Aaron Cantu had some good times and bad times in our program. Easton Peterson, C.J. Morgan, 2 more wide receivers that we're going to have to try to replace. Trevor McFalls, the defensive tackle. And let's take a look at our year 2 recruiting class and see who can replace these guys. Let's start off with Kyle Mays, a JUCO quarterback from Moscow, Idaho, 5'10", 171 pounds. Hailing from the Snow College Badgers in Ephraim, Utah. Snow College, one of the junior college powers in the nation. Kyle Mays, a Snow College Badger, reminded some of the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. But look at number 7, the big defensive lineman, beat him to the end zone. Who recruited that guy? We needed to get on him. Kyle Mays had offers from Southern Utah and Wyoming. He chose Southern Utah. 1-star defensive end James Williams from Grafton, North Dakota, 6'2", 243 pounds, from the Grafton Spoilers. has decided to come to Southern Utah. He will be a little bit of a project coming from the small town in North Dakota. James Williams only had an offer from Southern Utah. We recruited a lot of small town guys in this recruiting class. A local boy, Curtis Hill from Cedar City, Utah, 6'6", 287 pounds. His high school was the Cedar, politically correct incorrect Redmen, the Cedar Redmen. So we get Curtis Hill to stay home and come to his hometown school in Cedar City. And Curtis Hill had offers from Southern Utah and the University of Utah. He turned down the University of Utah to stay closer to home and play football in Cedar City. Clint Little, 2-star defensive tackle from Valdez, Alaska, 6'5", 292 pounds, from the Valdez Buccaneers, decides to come down to a little warmer climate in Cedar City, play football for the Thunderbirds. Clint Little had offers from Southern Utah and San Diego State, and he chooses to come play for Southern Utah. We offered a quicker path to playing time. From Pleasant View, Utah, Cedric Carter, 2-star safety, 6'2", 196 pounds, from the Weber Warriors, decides to come to Southern Utah. He's a very athletic, strong safety, as you see him here on a kickoff return in the state playoffs. He gets it to the sideline, takes it to the house. Cedric Carter had offers from Southern Utah, Utah State, and the University of Utah. He chooses Southern Utah. Next up, a 2-star linebacker from Jenks, Oklahoma, Kendrick Jenkins, 6'4", 229 pounds, from the Jenks Trojans. Kendrick Jenkins from Jenks, Oklahoma. Athletic linebacker, very good on the blitz. He had offers from only Southern Utah, again coming from a fairly small town in Oklahoma. Another small town player, 3-star linebacker Robert Macklin from Durango, Colorado, 6'1", 217 pounds, the adopted son of 2 Navajo American Indians. A very athletic but raw football player, as he only started playing football in the 11th grade. He had offers from Southern Utah and Colorado State. He chooses to head west to Cedar City to play for Southern Utah. Kyle Hawkins from Clinton, Utah, 3-star linebacker, 6'2", 208 pounds, from the Syracuse Titans. He is a little bit undersized for a linebacker. We'll obviously have to try to bulk him up a little bit. So you see him come down with the open field tackle here. Kyle Hawkins only had offers from Southern Utah. The 3-star linebacker, overlooked by a lot of schools because of his size, obviously. William Adams from Weiser, Idaho, a 3-star tight end, 6'2", 224 pounds, from the Weiser Wolverines. His house in Weiser, Idaho, actually straddled the border of Oregon, so he could have chose to go either way to high school. He chooses to go with Idaho, because who wouldn't choose Western Idaho over Eastern Oregon anyway? He was our most highly recruited player that we signed. He had offers from Colorado State, Southern Utah, Utah State, and Boise State. Craig Hamilton from Minot, North Dakota, 6'5", 299 pounds, from the Bishop Ryan Lions, a 3-star guard. We are trying to get better on the offensive line, starting with the interior. That is, Craig Hamilton had offers from Southern Utah and 2 Purple Wildcat teams, Kansas State and Weber State, and he chooses to go against his high school colors of purple and come play for the red and black. Weld Pool from Hurst, Texas, 6'2", 216-pound, 3-star free safety from the L.D. Bell Blue Raiders in Texas. Ball-hawking center field safety comes up with the interception here, breaks a tackle, but cannot escape the arms of that big number 73. Weld Pool offers from Southern Utah and Texas San Antonio. He will get a chance to play Texas San Antonio in our first game of year number 3. 3-star cornerback from Laurel Bay, South Carolina, 6'1", 176 pounds. Scott Meyers from the Battery Creek Dolphins is coming all the way to Southern Utah from the East Coast. We had a few of those guys come last year, including John Kearney, our starting quarterback, came from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Scott Meyers only had offers to Southern Utah, which is probably why he decided to come all the way from the East Coast. Corey Cook from Park City, Utah, 5'9", 191-pound, 3-star running back. This guy has some speed, but he is a return LDS missionary coming back from China. We'll see if he lost a step on his 2-year mission to China. You see him here in high school blowing down the sidelines past everybody for the touchdown. And Corey Cook had offers from Southern Utah, University of Utah, and our rival, the Weber State Wildcats. Gary Peterson, 3-star wide receiver from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, 6'5", 200 pounds. From the Sun Prairie Cardinals, Gary Peterson led a group of millennials who were protesting the name Sun Prairie because there is no sun in Wisconsin, especially during the 9 months of winter. That might be an exaggeration. But Peterson, with very good hands, I'll have a hard time not calling him Gary Patterson. He only had offers from Southern Utah. Oliver Hollis from Port Lavaca, Texas, a 1-star guard, 6 foot 275 pounds, from the Calhoun Sand Crabs, one of the better high school mascot names. The Sand Crabs, right there down on the Gulf Coast. And he's not an overly impressive fundamentals-wise, but we loved his passion for the game. You could see him fired up there. He will be a very good cheerleader on the sidelines if he never makes it into game action. Oliver Hollis. And a 2-star tight end, Justin Smith from Woodland Park, Colorado, a 6'4", 240-pound tight end from the Woodland Park Panthers. And this guy, we are hoping, could be a still. Very good size. And very good hands for a big fella. So he makes the catch there, takes the contact, and keeps a hold of it. Justin Smith had offers from Southern Utah and Colorado State, as well as Utah State. And he chooses to come to Southern Utah. So a quick recap. We got a 3-star guard, 3-star free safety, tight end, outside linebacker in Hawkins. Dawson, a tackle. We did not highlight. He was a late signee. He's 6'7", 308 pounds, a 3-star pickup. Very good pickup for us. Brian, a wide receiver, is also somebody that we weren't able to highlight. There was only 3 guys. Brian Rhodes, another receiver, was 2 stars. So we highlighted everybody except for 2 2-star wide receivers and 1 3-star tackle who signed very late in the signing period with us. Quick look at the overall team rankings in the recruiting classes. LSU got the number 1 class. Oklahoma number 2. National champion Ohio State number 3. Texas A&M number 4. Wisconsin number 5. Michigan, USC, Alabama, UCLA, and TCU round out the top 10 recruiting classes. Number 11 was Iowa. Number 12, Florida State. Number 13, Oregon. Number 14, North Carolina. Vanderbilt, Penn State, Texas, South Carolina, Clemson, and Pittsburgh round out the top 20. Arkansas at 21, Minnesota at 22, Northwestern 23, Navy 24, Washington 25, Tennessee, North Carolina State, Florida, Syracuse, Missouri, Miami, Kansas State, Georgia, and Weber State was number 34, our bitter rival from up north. They got 1 5-star recruit. He's a quarterback, Bishop, 6 foot, 194 pounds. And then they got 3 4-star recruits, 2 wide receivers and one athlete and 2 wide receivers. So huge recruiting class for Weber State, our rival. And we're going to have to step up our game because we come in at number 102. We got 9 3-star recruits, 6 2-star recruits, and 4 1-star recruits. So that was our off-season, and a special announcement before the start of year number 3. Lots of changes in the NCAA that we will get to a little bit later. So conferences have been trying to scramble to add teams. Southern Utah has been formally invited to join Conference USA along with New Mexico State and Weber State beginning in year number 4 of our dynasty. So one more year of independence and we will then reside in Conference USA. Quick look at the realignment in the West: North Texas, Rice, Tulsa, UTEP, UTSA, New Mexico State, Weber State, Southern Utah. In the East, you've got Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee, Tulane, Old Dominion, Florida Atlantic, Louisiana Tech, Marshall, and Florida International. As far as last year goes, that East looks a lot more formidable than the West does. And all of this coming about because of this special announcement from the NCAA can be summed up in one word: relegation. So the way this relegation alignment is going to work is each Power 5 conference will be lined up with a group of 5 conference. For example, the Big 12 is aligned with Conference USA. The ACC is aligned with the American Conference, the Pac-12, the Mountain West, the SEC, the Sun Belt, and the Big 10, the MAC. And I decided to do this because all of the conferences have a vague regional footprint, and I decided to line those footprints up. And for example, if Southern Utah is to win Conference USA Championship, the next season they will be in the Big 12, and the last place team in the Big 12 will be relegated to Conference USA. So relegation will start in year 4 of our Southern Utah Thunderbirds dynasty. All right, some training results heading into fall camp. Phillips, the kicker, +5. Miller, our punter, +5. By the way, we changed Phillips from punter to kicker to take the place of Colton Cook. Miles Killebrew improves 5 up to 84. BJ McCrae up 3. Zach Browning up 5. Kauser up 5. And Marquez Trigg. This is a guy that we need to pay attention to. He played, I believe it was for SMU, his freshman year, decided to transfer to Southern Utah, sit out a year. He's got an acceleration rating of 98, so we need to try to get him into some space. Todd Glover improved 4, Andrew Idy improved 5, and John Kearney improved 4. So here are some highlights from our fall camp. So we get a look at Marquez Trigg. Kearney finds Trigg over on the sideline. Now, one of the things I was trying to do in this fall camp practice, I practiced plays for a good hour or so, maybe a little more than an hour. And one of my focuses myself, controlling the quarterback and running the offense, was on pocket presence and trying not to scramble too early, not to get happy feet, and try to kind of fill where the pressure was coming from and move around in the pocket to try to give myself a little bit more time to find open receivers. I guess my reflexes in my old age are not what they used to be, so any way I can find to buy time to see receivers coming open and things develop downfield will help me immeasurably. So that was one of the things I was really focusing on. You see Kearney scramble out there, find Smith down the sideline for the touchdown. Another give to Trigg. As you're going to notice in these plays, a lot of the runs that we gave to Trigg were up the middle, and he is not going to be nearly as effective between the tackles. We might leave that to Frank Samft, our fullback. And Trigg is going to be a lot more valuable outside the hash marks and getting himself into open field where he can use that 98 acceleration rating. The receiver that we're going to have to rely on this year is going to be Todd Glover for the most part. He is a sophomore, although in the practices, the Smith kid looked really good. But we lost a lot from our receiver core. Kearney here rolls out. This time he is caught from behind. Kearney again flushed out to the right side. Kearney throws on the run, and that one falls incomplete. Kearney, not the best accuracy for a quarterback. but he did improve some. As you can see, I'm trying to really fill the pocket a little bit better and be able to maneuver in the pocket while still looking downfield. Here's a nice strike to Todd Glover for the touchdown. Out to the right side to tight end Anthony Norris. Here's the give to Trigg, this time on the outside. And Kearney flushed out again to Smith. Our offensive line hopefully will be improved this coming year. Glover over the middle. And under pressure, Kearney finds Trigg. And to Glover again down inside the 5. And that one, Trigg had it bounce off of his face or something. There's the give to Trigg on the draw, nothing doing. Give to Trigg again on the right side. Nice stiff arm, gets him down inside the 5. Over the middle, we didn't see Tony Terrell with the interception, the linebacker. In zone coverage. Norris drops the pass where it's broken up. Good defensive play. Glover powers his way into the end zone. And Miles Killebrew comes up with the interception there. Kearney out to Norris. Man, it would be awesome to have Kearney have more touchdowns than interceptions this year. That would certainly be a huge improvement. Kearney again under pressure. This time finds Ursua for the touchdown. And now he brought in backup quarterback Richie Harrington. Harrington from the pocket. Out to the right side to Samft. Samft gets down to the 10. Play action. Harrington looking out to the left side to Ursua. Naya Ursua. Throw into the end zone. Pass broken up. Harrington again shakes off the defender and then finds Samft. And look at Samft battle. We love Frank Samft. Harrington to the right side. Touchdown. And Harrington to Marcus Trigg on the final play of fall practices for the touchdown. All right, let's look at our Year 3 schedule. Starting off at home against the Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. And then another home game against the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. And then on the road at the Marshall Thundering Herd. So we start off with 3 games against future Conference USA conference mates. And then Texas State at home, at Utah State, UNLV at home, Georgia State at home, at Iowa State, our only P5 school on the schedule, at Weber State, at home against the Miami Redhawks, at home against the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils, and then we finish the season on the road at Central Michigan to take on the Chippewas. So that is the Southern Utah Thunderbirds Dynasty Bowl Selection Show / off-season episode here on Mama's Basement Sports Gaming. Hope you guys are excited for year number 3, and we will get that rolling here as soon as we can with the Southern Utah Thunderbirds and the Texas San Antonio Roadrunners from Cedar City in year 3, week number 1.